Breeding season is underway here at Dry Creek, and this year our breeding decisions look a little different than they have in the past. Today, I'm walking you through why we made those changes, not just what we're doing, but how we're thinking through the genetics, mothering ability, and long-term herd direction. If you're raising goats, planning to, or just trying to make better livestock decisions without boxing yourself into a corner, this episode is for you. Hey friends, welcome to the Get Goatwise podcast. Are you longing to raise goats and other animals for food but don't know where to start? Do you want to be more self-sufficient and less dependent on the grocery store? Do you wish you had a mentor to walk you through raising livestock? Hi, I'm Millie, animal scientist, cattle girl turned goat rancher, co-owner of Dry Creek Livestock, and simple living enthusiast. For 15 years, I've been on a mission to raise all of our own meat, eggs, and dairy. Here, we'll talk about raising goats and other homestead livestock, how to create sustainable animal management systems that actually work, and a bit of off-grid life with kids and livestock. If you're ready to take control of your food supply, raise livestock with confidence, and provide your family with the most nourishing meat, eggs, and dairy available, you're in the right place. Kick off your muck boots, pour a cup of coffee, and let's talk livestock. Before we jump into today's topic, I want to ask a quick favor. If this podcast has helped you in any way, whether it's given you confidence, clarity, or a strategy to try, I'd really appreciate you leaving a review. Just head to Get Goatwise on Apple Podcasts, scroll down to Ratings and Reviews, click the purple words that say Write a Review, give me some stars, and tell me what you think. It truly helps other goat owners find the show. And as a thank you, I've got a free kidding due date chart waiting for you. Just go to getgoatwise.com/kidding-chart. It's on the honor system, leave a review, grab your chart, and know that you're helping someone else along the way. Here's what's been happening on the ranch this week. The typical winter temperatures are finally here, and honestly, I'm okay with that. We've been dropping near 0 Fahrenheit every night, the mud is frozen solid, and that makes chores so much easier. We're warming up into the 20s during the day, which feels pretty reasonable for this time of year. We've got just a few inches of snow on the ground, and this week we started feeding one group of does outside their night trap. The first day they wandered more than we expected, but since then they've settled in. They're staying closer and heading back into the night trap on their own to get a drink and bed down in the afternoon. This is new territory for us, so we're learning as we go, and so are the goats. We also brought home a livestock guardian pup on Wednesday. Right now, she's got a spot in the barn with the chickens, cats, and herding dogs, just learning the ropes. Once she grows a bit, she'll go out with Ava and the weaned goat kids for bonding and training. Ava is incredibly gentle with the goats, and I'm hopeful she'll teach this pup to be the same way. Ray and Sage are taking full advantage of the frozen mud and working with Ray's 4-H steer every day. Winter chores are just better when you're not fighting mud, even if the water is frozen a little harder. Breeding season is also well underway, and there's a lot of activity in the breeding pens. That's what got me thinking this would be a good time to talk about our breeding decisions this year, because they're a little different than what we've done in the past. This year, we sold our boar buck, the Cedar Eater from Texas A&M, who did a phenomenal job for us and sired 3 really nice kid crops. He went to another herd because he still has several productive years left in him. I don't like getting too invested in one genetic line, even when it's very good. If you think about it, he's now the sire of more than half of our boar does, once you include this year's replacement doe kids. That's a lot of genetic influence concentrated in one animal. In a normal rotation, his first crop daughters from 2023 were bred to a Spanish buck last year, and this year they would have gone back into a boar buck pen. We're not interested in line breeding right now, so that was not going to work. When we sold him, my initial plan was to breed everything to the Spanish bucks. At the same time, we were casually looking for another boar buck, not urgently and not just to fill a hole. I'm not ready to abandon the boar breed. I feel really good about the progress we've made in our boar herd, especially breeding for fertility and maternal traits while still getting efficient growth on grass only. I'm also not going to rush finding the right boar buck just to check a box. Back when we were raising show goats, we started breeding all our replacement does to a Spanish buck for their first kidding. What we had noticed was that does who had a difficult first kidding often had more mothering problems that year and even in years after. So we experimented with using a Spanish buck on yearling does to try to ensure an easy, successful first kidding. And it worked. Those does were better moms with their first kids and stayed better moms long term. That's when I realized that not all mothering problems in boar goats are purely genetic. A lot of times, the way we breed them sets them up for failure right out of the gate. I want to pause here for just a second. A lot of people assume mothering problems are purely genetic, and sometimes they are. But very often we create those problems with how we breed and manage first-time does. A hard first kidding experience changes how a doe approaches mothering, and that shows up later in ways people don't always connect back to breeding decisions. There were trade-offs to this strategy. It slowed genetic progress in the show herd because we had to wait an extra year to see what replacement does would produce in terms of show quality kids. For an ambitious show breeder trying to climb the ladder fast, that approach would be counterproductive. For someone already at the top, it could actually increase longevity of breeding does and kid survival by improving mothering. For us, since we weren't aggressively chasing pedigrees, it worked well. I'm not in that industry anymore and things move fast, but if you're considering raising show goats and slow and steady is your style, this is a strategy worth thinking about. At the time, we also had our commercial goat herd. That gave us somewhere to put those crossbred offspring. If they met our criteria, the doe kids joined the commercial herd. I was amazed at how quickly we could improve mothering ability, udder structure, and teat placement in just one generation. We still have several of those does in our current herd today. That experience is shaping how we're thinking about things now. Our long-term plan for the commercial meat goats is still forming. For now, we're maintaining both the Spanish herd and the boar herd. This year, all the boar does are being bred to Spanish bucks. We'll see what the offspring look like and collect data. I expect we'll see a lot of boar coloring along with improved teat structure, which we'll record at kidding. That's exactly what we saw years ago in the show herd. We've also discussed the idea of going all Spanish and phasing out the boar herd entirely with the option of using a terminal boar cross on mature Spanish does to produce meatier, faster growing kids. A terminal cross means all offspring go to meat. None are kept for breeding. That idea is on the back burner for now while we gather data and get really clear on how we can best serve the goat industry with the type of goat we're raising. There are a few reasons we're maintaining the Bordeaux herd at this point. First, I like them. Their signature look and floppy ears are hard to beat, and I'm proud of the improvements we've made in just a few years. Second, we consistently get requests for boar bucks. We're very strict with our breeding criteria, so we don't have many available each year. That could become a focused direction. Third, as we expand marketing into live goat sales for butcher, consumer preference may lean toward boar goats, and that could shift our direction, possibly toward that terminal cross I mentioned earlier. I also have a strong interest in conserving the Spanish breed, and that will likely play a role in future decisions as well. So that's where we're at. We're weighing a few options, collecting data, and making breeding decisions that keep those options open. It's okay not to have all the answers right now. What matters is that your decisions today don't box you into a corner tomorrow. If you want to talk breeding strategies or have questions, head on over to getgoatwise.com/community and start a conversation. See you next week. Hey there. Thanks for listening today. I'm so glad you're here. If this episode helped you or encouraged you in some way, share the link with your homesteading friends. And if you really want to help me out, click on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and a review. You can connect with me on Instagram or email linked in the show notes, and meet me back here soon for more Get Goat Wise.